My name is Christopher Daher. I don't know which necessarily to look at, but I'll just look at
Probably
both.
that one.
That one, okay. My name is Christopher Daher. I am afternoon host of 100.7 The Zone under the name Peapod. Um, and also, as of late, I am, I guess, a band manager of three bands. Um, and I'm starting my own, I guess, band management company. I'm glad there's a video because now I can do the air quotes. So
Air quotes.
Yeah, air quotes on radio doesn't help, right? I mean, I could try to portray like the whole point of radio is you're telling a story with your voice, which is great because it doesn't matter what I look up here, and I may not necessarily have I don't necessarily have a face for radio. I'm decently looking, good looking. I don't know. My wife says I do, so whatever. And it's telling a story with your voice and everything. So they actually like do video and like see me like hoop and holler and see all my arms flailing. No, but I do that in studio too. So that's the funniest thing is like if you're just sitting there just going yeah, I'm really excited for this, but if you don't like actively show it, even though nobody is watching you, it loses something. Yeah. So, but I will get to all the band managing and hooping and hollering, and who knows how long this is going to be. I don't got anything else to do today, so I will talk your ear off, and good luck editing this. But I'll start off. I was born and raised in Akron, Ohio. My father, Lebanese man, came from Lebanon to the States at 16, almost joined the army. Almost went to Nam, ended up not going to Nam, worked every day of his life in restaurants and everything. Met my mom at one of his restaurants he was owning called Christopher's on the Hill. It was named something else before then, but I forget what it's called, but it was named after me because I was the firstborn child. They got married, had me, had my sister and two other kids, so I'm the oldest of four out of Akron, Ohio. And I came to Toledo for college. I originally went into the University of Toledo for engineering. Because I thought engineering would be a good idea because I'm kind of a techie nerd and I like, I like computers. I knew a thing or two about computers. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Engineering would be an interesting fit. I almost failed out of college. Not because I wasn't like lazy or anything. I just couldn't cut it. I kind of consider myself an intelligent person, but I wasn't engineering intelligent. So at that point, while still in college, the first year like 3 semesters, I was in engineering more or less. And after my first semester of college, I joined the University of Toledo radio station, 88.3 FM WXUT. And I fell in love with it because like I always loved music. I've always enjoyed like the personalities, the I guess the go-getter. Like they do kind of cool things. Like when you think of a radio DJ, even if you don't have a thing about like what they actually do, when you just think radio DJ, you think like, oh, they do wacky things. They interview bands. They do like they're entertaining without the stress of I guess visual.
When I think of radio DJs, I think it's the coolest job ever. Like,
yeah.
Oh shit, I would love to be that.
Yeah, I mean, I love what I do. There are some struggles, much like everything else you do, but I love radio. I love what I do. But I almost fell out of college, like academic suspension below 2.0, like, and for a guy who did really decently well, not like honor roll or anything like that, super smart, but like. Above average kid in high school, that kind of shook me. And my family and I sat down and everything. Excuse me. And said, if you're going to do engineering, you need to drop everything you're doing. You got to stop any of the side clubs you're doing. You got to stop all this. You need to buckle down. You need to quit the radio station. I went, no, I don't want to quit the radio station. Like, I really enjoyed this. I just got trained. I got to get to my own show on an actual real frequency because as much as it's a college radio station, it's on a real frequency. It's on, if you turn your dial to 88.3 FM, you're on there. Your voice is on there. Right. Like, and it's heard in like the general Toledo area. So like, it's kind of a big deal. And, my family was like, why don't you go into communication? And my dad, as much as he was supportive, he was always like, I don't ever want you to work as hard as I do, or as hard as I did. But he's a guy who did restaurants, and hard work is like that backbone. And like you need to provide for your family. It's very kind of old school mentality, a little bit. I mean, it's kind of like that. As much as you want to try and be, just like Mr. Mom necessarily or whatever. Like at the end of the day, like, and it's gonna sound really sexist, and I apologize, but like every man just wants to be like the hunter-gatherer. Like I get money, I bring in money, I'm the person who puts food on the table, and everything. Yes, that's kind of a caveman thought of way, but like it makes sense though. Like it's just ingrained in our DNA as just a man. It's just like we just want to provide.
Bring home the bacon.
Bring home the bacon. Literally want to bring home the bacon. And I'm recently married. I got married on May 1st. Thank you. And my wife Jane is a wonderful woman, beautiful woman. And for a guy who used to get bullied a lot, and I'm going to start getting emotional already, and I hate doing that because, I don't know, I'm a big old sap. But like for a guy that was bullied like a lot growing up, like almost to the point of suicide, like, and having someone that's like, hey, I love you enough for who you are and how weird and quirky and nerdy and whatever you are, and love you for who you are, means the world to me. And it sucks right now, like, we're in a transition period right now, as I guess when this interview airs. We're in a transition period right now. Everything. She's about to leave the one job she's at. I'm not going to mention them by name because, honestly, in my opinion, they don't deserve it. But so I joined radio in college, and I got a communication degree, and I worked my ass off. I graduated the spring of 2009 with a bachelor's of communication from University of Toledo. 6 months out of school, I ended up getting a job at Cumulus Media. Cumulus Media is one of the top 2 corporate radio stations in the country. Like, Cumulus is, it's Cumulus and Clear Channel, aka iHeartMedia, that run a good, I want to say like 80% of radio stations nationwide. Okay? So Cumulus Toledo has 8 radio stations. It is 100.7 The Zone, which is what I do currently on afternoon drive from 2 to 7. Cheap plug. 94.5 XKR, which is classic rock. K100, country, #1 station for like 20-some years. 93.5 WRQN, kind of like classic hits. I don't want to say oldies because it's not an oldie station. It's like classic hits from like 70s up. 106.5 The Ticket, sports. Star 105, and at this time, 98.3 Nash Icon. And I say because radio always it transfers every couple of years, so you could be looking back at this interview years ago, and we might have different radio stations now. Who knows? It's radio. That's what happens. But I joined at the in the fall, in August of 2009, and I've been there ever since. I'm about to approach my 6th year here. This August will be year number 6. And I've done literally everything in that building outside of like meeting with running the radio station itself, officially, and sales. I know how to do everything. There's a lot of intricacies in radio. There is obviously the on-air part, which is, the fun part.
Since you're describing all this stuff, what's your favorite parts? What's the good parts?
What's the good part? What's the bad parts?
Yeah.
Obviously the on-air part is the most fun. What's the worst part? People. No. That sounds.
How about not being able to say what you want sometimes?
Yeah. No. That's incredibly hard because in outlets like this, I could say the word fuck, and it wouldn't be too bad. And I try, even with an interview, it's still so ingrained in my head that I shouldn't curse because you have to be professional no matter where you are. You just got to make sure you don't say you have to put up not necessarily a facade, but you need to put up like an aura of professionalism no matter where you are, whether you're in front of the microphone or not, whether you are on air or not off air.
People know your name because you're on the radio, so if they meet you,
right? If they meet you in public and you're like this drunken slob, then people will remember that no matter where you are, and they go, "Oh, I met that guy once. He was a drunken slob."
Okay, so when you do hear a new band, you're like,
yes,
they're awesome.
Yes.
What if you hear a band and they're terrible? How do you deal with that? And you're like, Not even terrible. How about that?
I've learned.
Not your genre. You don't dig it. You know, like
I've actually had to deal with that as of late. I mean, the Zone has a specialty show called On the Radar, which is Sunday nights at 6 o'clock. We work with Innovation Concerts to play music and interview artists that are coming to town, like within a couple of weeks of the airing of the show. And we also have a very concentrated segment for the local scene, which was one of the biggest things I wanted when we got back on, when I got onto Afternoon Drive. I've been, as much as I've been on radio for almost 6 years, I've only been on air for about half that time. And I've only done Afternoon Drive, because before that I did weekends. I'm here and there at some other stations in our cluster and everything. But I've done The Zone. I did 100.7 The Zone Afternoon Drive for close now to 2 years. And the only reason I remember that is because within the same week that I got the position on air, a couple days before that, I went on my first date with now who is my wife. So like that same week, like and I got in that first date, it was a fun little side story. I'll come back to everything. Trust me, I'm getting there. I just like to talk, obviously.
Perfect radio guy.
Yeah, perfect radio, right? He knows how to talk. What? The best thing is I got out of a really bad relationship with a girl. Like the get your shit out of my house or it's gonna be on the street relationship. Never fun. Very ugly. Got to move in with one of my best friends who sadly is no longer with us. He let me move into his place and he goes, you don't gotta worry about rent. I was in the process of going back to broadcasting school because I wanted to hone up on my skills. Even though at the time when I went to broadcasting school, I already had about close to 3 years experience underneath my belt. And I just wanted to hone up because it was kind of plateauing. He's like, you can stay with our place. You know, you just got to throw out a couple bucks a week for food. And you can finish up broadcasting school. You can get yourself back on your feet, everything. And while I was in that, I met my wife, who actually used to be my boss at a side job I had. It's all like connected. It's really funny. It's like 7 degrees of shit. Like Kevin Bacon's gonna show up later. We went out for a couple drinks. We went out for dinner. We went drinks. I stayed the night, and I never stopped visiting. And now we're married. So you know, Dana, I love you. Of course. Shout out to my awesome fucking wife for putting up with me. No, not putting up with me. She loves me. Because we're practically the same person, which is fun. Which is like it's fun being like real. Like real and raw and everything. So I got on the radio and we did On the Radar, and that was the biggest things I wanted to push. Is I wanted to work with Innovations again. We used to do something back in the day when it was on 106.5. This is before I got even on air. Everything before I even was part of everything. Sorry, that's gross. Sorry, you can edit that out. And
we're keeping it real.
We're keeping it real. Okay, so if you really want to hear me snotting. Cool. I mean, whatever.
We're getting weird.
Let's get weird. It's the title of my book. I don't know. No, actually, if I ever wrote a book, it would be trying to be cool. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. That'd be like the name of my book. Because that's like basically my life.
You could like TM that.
Like just like I really should. Well, it's all well. It was an album. I forget by who, but it was the name of the album. Trying to be cool, and I'm just like, holy crap, that's like me, because
that's the epitome of
that's the epitome of me, because at the end of the day, people meet me and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were like this, but I'm like, I'm a giant freaking nerd. I have a Power Rangers tattoo on my leg. Like that's like I'm a big fucking weirdo, and people like that, like they think I'm like some cool like celebrity because I get to interview people and hoop and holler and get into places free sometimes. And
so
I'm
the
just
kids
like,
that picked on you in grade school are now the ones that are looking at you like,
yeah,
I'm jealous.
But I don't do anything in my hometown. I hate going to my hometown. I honestly do. I've had a lot of bad experiences, and I only go to my hometown for holidays, and that's literally it. At a point in my life, I was like, when I was growing up, I was like, when you leave for college, you leave for the nest, and you rarely go back to the nest. A lot of places like that aren't like that nowadays, because some people they graduate college, and sadly because of the economy and work and of everything, that's gonna sound nice.
Hey, you're not mic'd up. So
I know, right? Well, okay.
It's not as loud as you think.
Well, I'm loud enough as it is. They end up moving back home, and I'm just kind of that mentality of just like, you leave the nest and you try to be an individual and everything like that. So radio, back to radio. So we did On the Radar, and that's been about, it's about approaching our 1 year anniversary of On the Radar, which has been like my baby. Like, I wanted to do something with a local show. I wanted to do like everything.
How did it come up?
Did you
approach?
I approached
innovations with Brock.
Brock
come to you? Or?
I approached my boss at that time. My boss at that time was under his name was Brent Alberts. And I came to him as soon. He's the one who got me the position. He's no longer with our company because he left on his own terms. He was a nice guy, but I told him, I'm like, I want to do a local show back on air. I don't know how we can do it. I don't know how we can do it because like that's not like I don't know how that works. But like, let's talk to innovation. Let's get a local show back on air. Let's do something. And originally, we couldn't get anything doing. So I was like, let me do a special Facebook feature, like on our Facebook page, on facebook.com/Toledo Zone.
Was a little bit of a battle to get it.
What?
It was a little bit of a battle.
It was a little bit of a battle to get it because and there's more.
Because it's not Taylor Swift.
It's a hit. Well, it wasn't. It just
popular.
There wasn't a way to sell it, and the people in charge weren't because there's a lot of aspects in radio. It's not just like I have one boss. Like there's the head of programming. There is the sales department. There's the head of sales department. There's a guy who leads the whole Cumulus Toledo. There is then corporate. There's like corporate representatives for different genres of music.
So you gotta get the okay
then there's a corporate.
All
so like you have to get the okay up the ladder for everything. And the program director of Brent Alberts at the time, couldn't do anything. His hands were tied. He left. Our marketing manager, the guy who runs the whole Cumulus Toledo, left. We got a different marketing manager. I got a different program director, everything. Couple of different sales guys. My boss at this time is Bill Michaels. You can hear him. He knows, he's known in Toledo because back in the 90s he used to be on Kiss FM. Him and Johnny D were like the Howard Stern-esque of Toledo. I wasn't around here in the 90s, so I don't know. I've only heard stories. But Bill Michaels is my boss. He does middays on XKR. And then our head of Cumulus Toledo now, Andy Stewart, who actually used to be the marketing manager of the competition back in the day for Clear Channel for Clear Channel beat our asses for a good decade in ratings, every quarter, every year, would always beat us. He was doing something well, and he ended up leaving. I don't know the full story on why he left or anything, but then he ended up coming back to Cumulus Toledo, and he's been, I think, with us for a year or so. Now I want to say it's a year. It's been a year and a half. And I told this idea. I was like, hey, I really want a local show on the Zone. We're a small station. Instead of trying to reach outward as much as we can, we only have so much. We only have a certain amount of frequency and everything. Let's turn it inward. Let's support our own. Let's do stuff in here because
let's solidify home.
Let's be the ma and pop brick and mortar hometown station. Let's be that. Let's be that.
Where do you
person.
turn to hear what's going on in town?
What's going on down? What's going down at some shitty ass club or whatever? What's going down here? Who fucking cares about, some band that's going to stop in Toledo for some strange reason because they decided not to do Detroit or Cleveland? Because that's the problem. That's a little fun fact. A lot of bands, a lot of big touring acts will skip Toledo. And that's the problem with music. That's why people, say that, there's nothing in Toledo. And I fucking hate that. And I'm going to say fuck. Yeah, because for God's sakes, there is a lot of things in this town.
Do a little research.
Just fucking go out. Just get yourself $50. Not even.
Where do you like to go?
Where do I like to go? I like to go to Frankie's. Obviously, Frankie's and Iggy's, right on the east side. Love music. Love local music. Go check it out, stuff like that. I also enjoy Bar 145. Martini and Newsies. I had my reception at Martini and Newsies. I like to go out to the parks. I like to try new things. My wife and I are all about going out to new restaurants and trying new things and trying new experiences, go to the museum and art. When we're not working, we just like to just go. Or sometimes we just like to be lazy because, we work a lot, we work hard, and we get stressed, and we like to just go and try new things and just go outside the bubble. And that can be said in no matter what town you are, no matter what you do, you're not fully doing things in your life. It's really hot in here, sorry. Or maybe I'm just talking a lot and very passionate. But there are stuff around that you can do. All you gotta do is just jump in. I'm a firm believer of just going to the deep end and jump and just try it. And whatever happens. It's a learning experience. It's life. That's what you do.
It's a lot easier to go, oh, there's nothing going on.
Exactly.
Did you look?
Yeah. Did you try?
Did you look? You know what I mean? Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, as much as I like to bag on the "you will do better in Toledo" phrase, it's good and it's bad at the same time. Because it's bad. It's bad in the sense it's like very corny, very bumper sticker-ish. But that's kind of the whole point of a slogan. Everything. But like the whole "you'll do better in Toledo" thing, it's like it's kind of true. Like, I went from a small town in Akron, Ohio that nobody, I was kind of literally a nobody. And I'm not saying that I'm a somebody now. I'm just some guy that just happens to people know, I guess. Like, I hate trying to sometimes hype myself up because at the end of the day, I'm not very confident in myself. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of just trying out and see if people listen, and people do. And,
you know why? Because it's genuine. That's the difference.
Yeah, and that means like I try to be genuine. I don't try to be a shitty individual because I can't stand shitty individuals. I work with some shitty individuals all the time. I deal with shitty individuals no matter where you go. They exist. Sadly, some of those shitty individuals kind of control more than they deserve, and gets frustrating. And you try your damnedest to you know I could do better. I can be that guy, but sometimes those guys who get to that spot end up becoming the shitty individuals in the vicious cycle thing. And I worked very hard on getting on the radar, and finally we had the right people involved, and we had the right deals, and innovation was more than okay with it, and they appreciate my genuine hard work at it, and it's always been my baby. Like I feel like it's always been my baby. It was something that I was the initial spark, but I needed the right amount of gas and wood to make the fire burn. And so we're about to approach 1 year, and it's been incredible. It's been a lot of fun. I've got to interview not only a lot of great touring artists, but a lot of great local artists here. And to go back to your original question, 10, 15 minutes later, what happens if I end up listening to a band that's not necessarily my forte? I can appreciate just about any type of music, whether it's my forte or not, because at the end of the day, what's great about music is if I don't like something or it doesn't speak to me in one way, it will speak to somebody else in a different way. Unless you're Insane Clown Posse, because they're just fucking awful. No.
Here's my thing. How do you feel about original to cover? Because we have a battle, but there is
definitely
what I'm talking about.
There's a definite line of both original versus cover. Example, my wedding reception. Shout out to Shavar Dante. He played my wedding reception. Okay, but obviously, we wanted an idea to make it kind of like a fun club. Like our invitations were like handbills. Like we did invites on Facebook because we knew so many fucking people that like it was hard to like actually write out invitations and try to cut down all the people we've known to interact with, whether personally, professionally, anything, down to a list. And we didn't want to insult anybody that couldn't come. So we made our wedding and our wedding reception in 2 public areas. We got married at the park, invited everybody we knew. Like, if you could come out to this, that'd be great. We have a small little ceremony. We did it. It's very nice. It was cute, everything. And then we had the reception at Martini and Newsies. We worked with Martini and Newsies to have, like, it's like an open day. Like, it's like a regular night, everybody. If the public really wants to come out and see Shavar Dante and Breaking Ground, which is a cover band, that we really enjoyed, that my wife really enjoyed. I saw them at Battle of the Cover Bands last year at Bar 145. We really enjoyed them, and they broke apart, and then they came back together. We were really excited, got them. They can come out as well. Like, it would be open to the public, but it also happens to be our wedding reception, so it might be a little awkward or whatever. I did both. I like both. I can appreciate both, but as a person, radio, people work with bands, I like to lean a little bit towards original music. I can appreciate what cover bands do. And if you put your fun, and that's the whole thing about cover bands, is if you do a good enough spin on the songs that people like, you know, people will love it. Our first dance, my wife and I, was to Hosier's Work Song. Look it up, it's a great song. We had Breaking Ground do that song. And they did a wonderful job. It's not like the original, but it was unique enough that they made it their own. There's nothing wrong with of cover artists. At the end of the day, if people are doing music, no matter if it's music that somebody else did or music that they originally do, as long as people are coming out, they're coming out. Ooh, that feels nice. Thank you. Goodness. So on the whole, original music and cover band artists, I like both. I guess I'm gonna Switzerland this a little bit.
As a manager.
As a band manager, obviously, I would like to go towards original music.
It's a lot harder
to
get
promote
those original acts. So it's, you know, and I've done both, right? So I know the battle of it. You know, they don't want to take your bands that are creating. It's art. It's art.
It's an art. It's an art form.
They won't give, well, and now we're saying some places are changing. We got Martini and Newsies, you know, they got Shavar, you know. But it's a battle to get, like we talked off camera a second ago, until it's popular, just as good.
Yeah.
But until it's popular, they won't put you in there.
And how does one song, music become popular? They become original songs that people enjoy, and the groundswell gets them, and then people listen to them on radio or YouTube or streaming or Spotify or whatever else they do this week on how you get your music, and then it becomes a staple, and then people will go out of their way and cover that.
Brown Eyed Girl, was played to nobody when he was writing it. If you never got a chance to play it out, it would never be what it is.
Yep.
That's my problem with, you know, you got to let these people show their art.
Yeah.
Cover bands.
And there's nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with a cover song or like certain cover bands that like the Kiss tribute band, the Led Zeppelin tribute band. Those are artists that have become a staple in music in general. In history, that nowadays a lot of artists will rarely repeat. Beatles tribute bands, like they were the backbone, the staple of music today. A lot of it nowadays will never repeat that. It's not my cup of tea, but I can appreciate for what they do. I can appreciate any band doing whatever they want, whatever they put their spin on it, as long as they're just entertaining people and making people come out and support, you know, because the same person that is up there in the stage singing some of your favorite songs that you've enjoyed is probably the same person checking you out at Kroger. Like, you just, as long as it let them have their time and their moment of thing, but to call, because I know there's certain artists, and it's gonna probably run some people the wrong way, and I apologize ahead of time. It's not out of spite, but like there are certain cover artists that claim that is original, and it's not. And I hate to break it to you, it's not original music. It's you are putting your original spin on something, on already established songs. I saw Joan Jett a couple months ago. I was kind of surprised that there was no original music, no original artists opening up for Joan Jett. Not even one. Not even the one before Joan Jett. It was all cover bands and cover artists and everything. I understand what they were going for. I understand the company that was behind it. I understand the people that were running it. That's what they wanted to do. But it still confused me that could have been a stage. That could have been a big stage for an upcoming artist or artists to showcase their music. Like, hey, if you like Joan Jett, you will like this original artist. That was a missed opportunity. Don't get me wrong. Some of those bands were really very entertaining. Flamingo Nation comes to mind. That was really entertaining. They were fun. They had costumes. They were shooting off confetti, launching marshmallows. They did fun mashups. It was fun. It was fun for what it was.
Entertaining.
It was entertaining. It was damn good entertainment. But it wasn't original. You weren't doing original music. You were just more or less reinventing the wheel.
Joan Jett wasn't playing Brown Eyed Girl.
No.
She wasn't covering.
No. Joan Jett wasn't covering anything. Joan Jett was playing original music.
So how do those original artists get their songs out if no one puts them on the platform to play it?
And that's the biggest thing for On the Radar. And that's the biggest thing that I wanted to do with Band Managing. Like, I want to do my damn